Welcome to Read Your Comics. Today I'm looking at Darker Image number 1. This is another video in my exploration of 1993. At this point, Image Comics is in full swing. We're kind of in the second wave of books. This was originally intended to be a 4-issue limited series that was going to... I don't know if it was going to feature these 3 characters every issue, or if the plan was to bring up new characters in every one. Needless to say, like many Image books, this is the only one that came out. But it is a good one. It is. It debuts Deathblow, the Max, and Bloodwolf. Now, the Max technically has a first appearance in a Comico book from several years before, but I think even Sam Keith kind of looks to this as this is the Max, and that other Max was kind of like a prototype Max. In much the same way Eric Larson looks at, I think it's called Graphic Fantasy, as not really the first appearance of Savage Dragon. It is a dragon that he was kind of prototyping, but he considers the first appearance of Savage Dragon the one that we know that got a series as Savage Dragon number 1. But, comic collectors are going to, they're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to put things in a key collector and stuff saying otherwise. So anyway, we're going to look at Darker Image number 1 and just see how this book holds up over time. Leading with the Max story. I got a newsprint copy here. I picked it up just recently. I think the paper is a little thinner. I don't remember it being glossy paper necessarily, but it just seems thin. So this Max story is pretty basic, and it's really just him in the outback. You don't really get a lot about who the character is, what he's about. He's just out here in this big open field with this ogre character kind of after him. It's very fantasy driven. Nice coming up on the panels. This guy must just be like swinging the hammer over and over. Wham, wham. Whatever the sound effect is. Now I remember the Max being previewed, and he had these claws. And this mask, you kind of wonder, like, what is he? Is he going to be like a Wolverine type character? He's not at all, but you definitely kind of got that impression from the first look, at, judging from the time period. He crashes in, and we get the Jaguar Queen. You can tell Sam Keith pulls heavily from Frazetta in his designs of these women in these fantasy worlds. And then he kind of wakes up, and here it seems like she is against him, though. So it's kind of confusing, and he lands there, and she's like stabbing him. And it makes sense when it comes over here, and it's really like the character Julie is like giving him like an injection of something, like some kind of medicine. But, in here, he's almost like she's the enemy. In the Max series, as we go along, he's like, I will do anything to protect the Jaguar Queen. I think that's what he calls her, the Jaguar Queen. It isn't even in this one. I don't even think it gives her a name. But the narration switches to her. And you get a pretty awesome, more or less a pin-up with the ripped clothing, noodly, phone cord-like things that Sam Keith is kind of known for in his drapery and his ripped drapery. That was pretty much the end of that. Get an ad for Wildcats Zero. The Zero issues were real big in 1993. Seems like every book had to put one out. Now we get a Rob Liefeld book or story, his knockoff of Lobo. It's pretty humorous. There is this like he's riding like a giant gun. So it's Liefeld's kind of in on it here. This is actually some decent Liefeld artwork here. And he's on some like space line. There's Lobo right there. This is nuts right here. Liefeld's just going crazy. That's something he wouldn't have got away with at Marvel, and he's just having fun, doing what he wants to do. This is some of his better work here. I don't know who inks this. Who inks this? Does it say? It just says Rob Liefeld, story and art. And then gives credit to the color. So maybe he inked himself. This is an interesting ad for this Dooms 4. I remember this being a big deal, like in Wizard and stuff, being mentioned that it was already optioned for a movie in 1993. And I remember thinking, like, why are they making a movie of something that's like not even out? Of course, no movie ever got made. I'm hoping Rob got paid at least, and you know that's just the way things were back then. I mean, these guys were making so much money in a crazy time in comics. Parodying himself, sticking cable in this book, big guns, just blasting at each other with like explosion in the middle of the two guns. Look how close they are to each other. It's just explosions. Of course, you're going to come up to an army of guys right here that he then gets to just annihilate. Looks like he gets them on his side. Yeah, what the heck? I'll kill them all. Jumps back on his crotch rocket gun thing. Or no, he picks it. Oh, he picks it up to fire it like a gun. Oh man, this is outlandish in some of the best ways. Like, I mean, it's a total parody of Lobo, who in himself was a parody of like, you know, grim and gritty characters, like, you know, making fun of like Wolverine more or less. I always thought so. To have a character go even more over the top is just it's just so absurd. I guess as he leaves, he left this thing behind. There must have been a bomb that blows up that moon or whatever it was he was on, and that's the end. You know, over the top story. This character, out of the three in this book, this one took the longest to get his own series. I don't think his series came out until like 97 or something. Got your death mate happening here. Bloodshot with Youngblood. Whatever his name was. He's got like more of a Cobra Commander mask going on. Now we get into the Deathblow story, and this is some of Jim Lee's best work, I feel like. Not much in the way of like story here, though. He's just some kind of like military guy that's done a lot of bad things overseas, and but you get like this. It's like this almost a blend between what Frank Miller was doing at the time and then Jim Lee, and it gets even more experimental in the Deathblow series itself. Like this still just looks like Jim Lee to me, like all of this side. It's when you do stuff like this that you can tell he's trying to play around with something different than he was used to doing. They don't go full black and white. You know, they're keeping this like little pops of gradient here and stuff. Lynch, who's kind of a, you know, Nick Fury type character across the Wildstorm books. All of this, like, when I read this, it's just blah, blah, blah. in one ear, out the other. There's not really much interesting about it other than the art, I don't think. I mean, maybe the full series gets a little better as it went along. I didn't really stick with it. I do remember just loving the art and thinking, like, he's a cool character. Let's see where this goes. Another Deathmate ad. Really pushing this. Really pushing this. It's a cool Jim Lee cover, though. And the Image dropped the ball on that Deathmate pretty bad. I've got a Deathmate. I'm going to do a little video on Deathmate soon. Anyway, you got some dudes in military suits standing around yakking. It's just looking at like the little intricacies of the art that I think is the only thing. Like, this is just boring. Boring. But you have like something like this fading out into the, like overexposed area, or however you want to think about that, contrasted with this dark, shadowy character. It's interesting to see and that's how it ends. Like, nothing about, there's like one big splash page in here of the dude, of the main character, actually looking kind of cool. And the rest is just meh. Not interesting looking, not interesting looking, not interesting looking. And it just ends. So out of these three, it's a weird start. It's a weird start for the Max, which I liked a lot, particularly for Sam Keith's art. It's a pretty good start for Blood Wolf, but you won't see that character again for years. And Death Blow is a very well experimentally drawn book by Jim Lee, at least to start, Jim Lee, and but goes nowhere really. But the character, I guess, was big enough. I don't know how many issues his series lasted, but he had a crossover with Wolverine and several other characters, so he remained pretty popular. And it's kind of funny that, as far as I know, DC has not done anything with him. He looks cool there, though, with the Sam Keith cover. I guess Sam Keith did the whole cover here. It all looks pretty, yeah, it's definitely Sam Keith. I didn't know if there's like some jam session going on here, maybe with the inking. Anyway, this is a book I think, though, anybody who collects comics from the 90s should definitely have this in there. It's full of, the art in it's really good, even if the stories are, like the Max story, I don't really think it's like a great introduction to the character. It's weird. If you like weird, though, it's a good introduction, but you don't really get anything out of who the character is, what he's about, what the series will be about, anything of that nature. The best one, really, is Blood Wolf. And I'm no Liefeld fan, per se, but that was the only one in here that I would come out of this going like, wow, this seems the most fun of the books. The other two looked like they had great art, and you kind of wanted to see where that went. And the Max, I wouldn't really say is a fun book. When you get into the main series of it, it's kind of depressing, but it's supposed to be. And, it found its lane, and it got in it and stayed in it. Death Blow looked like it was, like the concept is like you're going to get this action adventure Black Ops guy, and I guess that's what you get, but it is pretty dull, pretty boring. And that's all I got for Darker Image #1. So until next time, read your comics. Liefeld's just having fun here. This is not something he could have done in a Marvel book. Yeah. Yeah. Green Stretch. How'd you make your own book?
No, that's actually one that I made a while back. Okay.
Welcome to HeroCon lit. Oh, this is it. Sup. Pow.
Oh, Daddy?
Is this the origin of green stretch? Sit down. Bouncy. You good? Yeah. Okay. What's it say? Stretch, quick, thinking, good, end. Was that code?
Mm-hmm.
Click. Is this one you just made, or you made this a long time ago?
Well, I made that part a long time ago. But the part where green stretch is trapped, I made
That.
today.
Later. It's done. Yeah, I'm green stretch. Tomorrow. Oh, there's the Waffle House. So, yeah, some guy. You're just eating lunch with some guy. Silas, can I have these? Is this me?
No.
He's got a beard like me and a bald
But
head
Daddy,
like me.
your beard doesn't go down like that.
No.
That's some
Well,
random
he's
guy.
saying, listen, like I say to you all the time. Listen.
No, he's talking to me about
No.
some important
No.
stuff.
I'm done. Leaving the Waffle House.
Yep.
Meanwhile, that night. Pow. There, green stretch. You're trapped. Green stretch. Girl. Obviously. My name is Drills.
Because
Oh,
my name is Drills.
yeah.
Obviously.
Probably should have the word balloon coming up like that. So it's above it. So it reads down. But yeah. Beep. Yeah. Flipperama.
Punching. Flipperama.
Womp. Is this Drills?
Mm-hmm.
This costume looks similar. Does he have drill arms?
Yep, and legs. Hello.
So, stretch jump.
Super stretch.
Super stretch jump. Flip.
It's a van in a yard. It's opening up.
Green stretches layer. Computer. Supercomputer. Hero bedroom. Hero contractor. What?
Contractor. Contactor.
Oh, hero contactor. Oh.
Table.
Okay. Hey, Dad. No, hey, Daddy. Hey. There I am, huh?
Yeah, and you're making mac
I'm doing
and cheese.
Cheese.
Mac and cheese.
The end.
And look at the shadow. It's stretching.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I'm wearing my favorite shirt,
I wanna
my
read
Marvel
you mine.
shirt.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
I don't know if you mine. Godman, number 3. What's a superhero? Previously, what's a superhero? Now, a superhero is someone who protects his or her home. His or her home. Go on. They swear to protect, whatever the cost. Even death, even death. So, why do you want to know anyway? Laserman. Laserman? Gods are always left with mysteries. Back on Earth. Pow. Swear to protect, whatever the cost. Boom. All done. Laserman. Wait. Wow. By the gods of a farting planet. Bring me to Laserman. Beer wow romp zik zik. Right. Badoom. What's this page?
Yeah, it's a crazy page.
Croom. Zeal. Oh good, I found you. Wrong one. After Laserman 3. Well, bye, sucker. Huh? Ta-thoom! No. You can't be. Where am I? To be continued.
Who's that guy?
It's the cape.
That's his name, the Cape.
He's a super villain.
They
Also,
like
everybody,
it.
make sure to check out Tree Streets Inc.
Be sure to check out Tree Streets Inc.
Tree Streets Inc.
Daddy, did you like
Also,
it?
this is Godman
that
#3. I have a
you
bunch more
were in
comics.
it?
Yeah, man.
Also, don't edit.
Yeah.
Also, don't edit this out. Godman's orders.